All right, it's Thursday night, Las Vegas Triathlon Club member spotlight. Tonight we got Robert Vazquez. Hey, Robert, how are you?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Hey,
Oh, doing good. Well, thanks for
we're
joining
good.
us. We've got co-host Bob Gamble. Hey, Bob,
John, how are you?
doing good.
You're looking bright and happy and healthy.
All right, well, that's good. Well,
Yeah.
tonight the spotlight is on Robert. I got two Roberts here, but we got Bob and Robert. So, I'm really interested to know more about Robert's triathlon journey because I don't know you very well, Robert, other than seeing you
Mhm.
at some of our events. And boy, that last event, you had a fabulous bike split. So I'm really interested to hearing a little bit more about this. But before I get going too far, I'm going to hand the mic over to Bob Gamble for the official introduction.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks again for being on tonight, Robert. I appreciate it. And actually, for everybody who's listening, Robert had a stellar court race on Saturday, and his bike split was amazing. And I don't know where these people came from, but we had like the first five people that finished were like it was like what planet are they from? They were rocking that bike course.
Oh,
And Robert was I asked him about his bike speed, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well, at the Ironman Arizona, he goes, I put out 350 watts for
Not
the
Ironman Arizona. Not I in not 350 watts for a full. Don't say
No,
that.
no, no. But the first part of it, and I was thinking, man, I was like, I don't even see 500 or 350 watts. So that's cool. We're looking forward to talking to you, and definitely welcome to the club. Appreciate you being on tonight. So go ahead and tell us. I mean, and you've got an interesting story on your first triathlon. Well, Rob's just been with the club for like 2 weeks, signed up for this last our last race of the season, and did fantastic on it. And looking at my notes here, but he's an experienced triathlete, even though he's only been doing it for like 3 years now. So um, I want to go ahead and tell us, like John said, how did you get into this, and what was your first triathlon? Tell us about that.
So my first triathlon was Sand Hollow 2021 during COVID. My buddy Mike Gomes, he's also a member. Um, he called me and said, "Hey, you want to come do this triathlon?" And I'm like, I don't even know what that is really. So, so, so I go, okay, let me. So I figured out what it was. I was like, okay, an Olympic triathlon, almost a mile swim, 24-mile bike, 6 mile run. I'm like, I ran 9 miles a day every day back in high school and college wrestling. I'm like, I can do this no problem. I'm actually 208 pounds at this time. Like,
whoa.
I'll share the photo of that triathlon of what I look like. I don't look anything like this. I'm like just like
Wow.
I'm barely 5'9", so 208 pounds, a lot of weight for me to carry. Um,
Wow.
I tell him, I say, all right, let me see if I can float around in my mom's pool for an hour. If I could survive an hour in the water without touching the floor, I think I could do it. So I get in this pool, and I'm telling you, it's one stroke, you're on the other wall. One stroke, you're on the wall. I did that for an hour straight, and I was like, oh, I got this. I've never swam like laps or anything at this point. I
What
just
about open water?
no. I mean, I in the lake or I swam like out to like a buoy or something when I was on a cruise one time in the Bahamas, but like never any type of distance or anything like that. Never like didn't even learn how to like do a stroke or anything like that. So yeah, I did that. And I call him back up. I'm like, I'm in. He's like, all right, I got a bike and a wetsuit for you. So I'm like, cool. I'm I'm already in competition mode. I grew up wrestling. I started wrestling when I was 4 years old, and like as soon as I hear like competition, like all right, let's do it. And I end up like researching triathlon for like the entire week. Um,
Hey,
I
wait,
bought
time
bike.
out here. You prepared for a week for your first triathlon.
I, I bought bike shoes that were terrible. I ended up throwing them in the trash. Um, like it was, I had no idea what I was doing. I had these like the original Alpha Fly 2%, and I had ran in them one time before, like when I turned 30, like so maybe I don't know a year before that, I'd ran in those one time. and I had like a $5,000 bet with a coworker that I could run a sub 5:30 mile. And here's me, haven't thought about running or ran. I ran 4 miles for that. The alpha flies hurt my Achilles. Didn't run for like another week. Got hopped on the elliptical every day for 6 minutes. Went out there, ran a 5:09 mile like a week before I turned 30. Won the 5,000. Still owes me two of it. He's supposed to give me free play because he owns some local taverns around here. So yeah, I did that, and I'm like, that's the type of person I am. I'm like, oh, there's a challenge. I think I can do it, or I'll will myself to do it. Like I'll die before I don't succeed. So fast forward to COVID, I'm looking up transitions, all this stuff. I'm like full on in it for a week. I show up to Sand Hollow. I'm ready. My buddy, he actually owns All In Bicycles in Mesquite. He gives me a bike, and he actually had two bikes for me to choose from. He had his road bike that he uses, which is all decked out with Dura-Ace, like super nice bike, carbon wheels, everything. And then he had this like girl bike that was extra small, like blue, and didn't have aero bars or anything. And he's like, you should ride this one. I think he just didn't want me to ride the nice bike because he didn't want me to like wreck it or something. I hadn't even ridden a road bike before. So he forces me to ride this blue girl bike. It's like extra small. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. And then I also wearing like a sweatsuit that's way too small. Like I don't fit into any of this stuff. So I hop in the water, and I didn't know what was going on. I ended up like panicking, backstroking, just like doing whatever I could. I think it was 48 minutes or 52 minutes.
This was an Olympic, right?
This is an Olympic. So it was like 52 minutes swim for me. Got out of the water close to last. Hopped on the bike, and I ride out the hill, and I'm like already dying. Like I haven't done I only lifted weights at this point. And I go up the hill, make that right towards the freeway. And this is when it went the other way, not the left hand when you go up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I come down the first big hill, and I'm not afraid of like going fast on a bike. I raced BMX growing up, so it's kind of where the bike power came from. At one point, I was ranked in the nation for my division BMX.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I raced all over the country. That was when I was young, though, like 12 to 16. So I wasn't afraid to like handle the bike. So going down the hills, I was going fast as I can, passing people actually. But then going up the hills, I was just getting smoked. And I didn't realize how the adrenaline was pumping. Like I hadn't been on a bike, and I was like, everything was like kind of like new. So at like the turnaround, I'm like, I am literally dying. And I just realized that I was hearing my brakes were rubbing the entire race. And I'm on this little bike. I'm on this little bike that my friend was like, he's like, yeah, smaller is better than bigger. You Google it, and it says bigger is better than being on a bike too small. Because I was like cranking up. I had my tri suit that didn't fit, like completely down. And it's just at one point I was riding the bike just sitting up with no hands because like I couldn't be cramped over like that anymore. So I make it through the bike, and then I get out on the run, and this is like literally like my Achilles was still bugging me from when I did that run like a year ago. It's never gotten better because the alpha flies have that little strap on the heel, and it's like my feet are a little different sizes. So on the left side, it kind of moves and just destroyed my Achilles. And so I run, I think it was, I run like 2 miles and at a pretty decent pace. And then like eventually I'm just like, I can't do this. My Achilles is hurting. So I take the shoes off and put them in my hands, and I run barefoot. The next 4 miles I run barefoot, and it was brutal. I was like running in the sand. I was going from street to sand along the lake or the reservoir until finally, and then I had my shoes in my hand. These like $200 shoes. And I'm like, whatever, I don't want to lose them.
Okay. You're not gonna throw those away.
I ended up throwing them in the trash at the gym. So I was like, I'm just done with these things. And I wore them like 4 times. So finally Mike Gomes pulls up, takes the shoes from me, and he's like cheering me on. I get to the finish line, they're tearing everything down.
Oh.
They're tearing everything down. I think I took third to last in that one.
John, have you heard of a story like this?
Yeah,
I mean, for your first anybody's first triathlon.
this is awesome. One, the weight loss. Congratulations, that's huge. But boy, what a great story. I agree with Bob. I love this story. But what
Yeah.
I'm amazed at is that one, you finished, and then two, something made you to sign up for another one. What was that?
Oh, I was so mad at my friend Mike for so long. I was like, I'm not talking to him till I know I can beat him. Because he keep riding back on his bike. He's like, oh yeah, like he took my shoes from me, and I just was like running, not even looking at him. I was mad because I knew the bike's brakes were rubbing, and that was part of like the big issue.
Yeah.
I wonder if he set them up like that just because he didn't
I
want
don't
you to
think he
beat him.
did. He does own a bike shop, but I don't think he did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike's a great guy. That's
I
awesome.
love Mike, one of my best friends. Yeah, so that was crazy. So literally, like the very next day, I'm researching bikes. I just buy some random Bentham, which is actually sitting right here. I'm taking it apart. I bought a random Bentham for like 4,000, like the next day,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm in. Like I'm not talking to Mike till I know I'm faster. And I call him back. Hey, are we doing that race again? A year later, I'm like, are we doing this race again? He hadn't heard from me.
I love
He's
it.
like, oh, we're racing. I was like,
Did
yeah,
you
we're
race that? You raced him again the next year?
Yeah, he actually beat me
Did you beat
by.
him?
No, I went off into the sand. Some kid cut me off going down the big hill.
Oh,
Oh, shoot.
I went off into the sand, saved it, but I lost by like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something.
oh,
That
wow.
was the last time he beat me, though.
Oh, I love this. So you've got a good friendly rivalry, and so you get done with that first race, and you're just like, sign me up for the next one. So what other races have you done at this stage?
Let's see. So I did, that's actually, I did the one in Sand Hollow that same year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what happened, this is even crazier. July 4th, that same year, I started triathlon. Like a few weeks after I got my bike, I had my Garmin, my first Garmin, the same one, for like, I don't know, a couple weeks. And I was actually going to a pool now and swimming. I got hit by a car.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I was in my aero bars coming down a hill on Hollywood and that hill going down Hollywood where you meet Charleston,
Yeah,
where the
yeah,
bike
yeah.
lane is.
Mm-hmm.
The person turned last second, didn't have their blinker on, and I went to like dodge them, and they clipped my back tire, and I went across all 6 lanes.
Oh,
On my Garmin data, you see like it's like orange for like going fast, and then it's like green and slows down till it goes red or till it goes green or whatever the slow speed is. I hit the curb across the street, cracked the helmet in half. Um, I tore my labrum in my hip and the
Jeez.
shoulder. Couldn't walk for like 3 weeks.
oh. But you're a
Rehab.
BMXer, so this is probably old hat for you now. Bike injuries, right?
I knew how to fall, luckily,
Yeah.
and I almost saved it. But
Oh,
so
well,
that was the big first obstacle.
yeah.
Uh, I ended up getting healthy. I think racing a year later, or not a year, but like the next Sand Hollow event.
Okay. Well, I hate to hear someone getting hit by a bike, but I'm glad you're okay. But that's scary. But yeah, you're still going, and
There's nothing stopping me.
you're in it.
So somewhere in there, and I'm trying not to give anything away here, but tell us about your next race after that.
I think I did the next race after that. I actually did. I did Donner Lake 70.3, the half. It's non-Ironman event.
Okay.
I did that, and that was like a big one I trained for elevation. Jumped, made big jumps in swimming. I'm a huge data guy. Like I work with data all day. Like I do cybersecurity data. So like I'm in all the data. As soon as I'm done, I'm like, what are my times? What is my heart rate? I'm like all the dashboards. Yeah, I did Donner Lake, and I came out of the water, I think, in like 12th or something. Pretty good race. First time I really felt the draft on someone, caught some good toes. And then I went over the hill to the Donner Summit and I was coming down, my hub exploded. So I'm like sitting there on the side of the road, DNF, like my first DNF. It was sad.
Oh no.
Then I did, I think, Sand Hollow again. And I jumped to, I think, 23rd place. Not, it wasn't Sand Hollow, but it was the Copa Kelly one.
Yeah.
I think I jumped to like 23rd
Olympic.
place.
Mhm.
So in like a year and a half, I went from third to last to
Yeah.
24th
That's
overall.
Overall.
amazing.
And then I went to I had Ironman Arizona planned. So that was like the big one. I had a friend who had done Ironmans and I was like, yeah, I want to like I always knew that I wanted to go further distance. I wanted to get deeper into the pain cave. I wanted to go as deep as possible. So for that race, I think I had a really good bike. This is in November of 2022. I had like a 5 hour and 11 bike or something like that.
That's great.
That was on a full Ironman, a 5 11 bike. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
And then I had like a 1:18 swim, which wasn't great. And then I was actually crushing it on the run. Well, actually, I lost my water bottle, or I lost my salt water bottle on the bike, probably like mile 70. That was my first big mistake. I really learned about salts that day. So I get off the bike and I have to pee at every single aid station for 26 miles.
Yeah.
Not only did I get off the bike and have to pee at every aid station, I was running down. There's like a path along the Salt River there,
Yep.
and I stepped on the edge of the path between the rocks and the edge, and I end up breaking my fifth metatarsal towards the back at mile like 6. I went from 8.5, 9 minute miles to like the next one was like 9, the next one was like 10, and it just progressively got worse
Wow.
until I'm running as hard as I can, running like 16, 17-minute miles. People are walking by me and I'm running as hard as I can. I can't keep water down because I don't have any salt in me and I didn't get any salt until I figured out that, hey, I'm like hypernatremic and I'm just peeing. It's clear. It's going in and out. I end up like just the potato chips and then the bone broth. The bone broth was like saving me. So that's how I got through that. Super painful. Foot was like purple and swollen and couldn't walk for weeks after that. Was in a boot. I was actually in a boot. I've had a lot of injuries. I was in a boot. I did that Ironman with 2.5 miles running in the previous 13 weeks. I was in a boot for a navicular stress fracture.
I love it.
And you also ran 20 miles of that marathon with a broken foot.
I did, yes. And I got the pictures to show it.
Man, Robert, you've got some determination and some persistence. This is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And so now you've had that experience, and yet you're still signing up for triathlons.
I was mad after that one.
You're either mad or a slow learner, right?
Both.
Well, it sounds like you're just loving the training and loving the racing, even though you've had some real tragic things happen during events and during training. But like I said, the persistence and the determination is really just standing out right now.
You guys know what it is? I want to win.
Oh, I love it.
I want to win so bad. Like, I just want to be the first. I don't care what race it is. That's why I was really disappointed on Saturday that I didn't come across first. I really wanted to be the first one. I just want to be the first one across the finish line one time. I might be done after that.
Oh.
Robert,
I don't think so. I have a feeling you're going to be in this for a while. Well, and it is amazing because your first event, you're whatever third from last or what have you, to now where you're at and competing for those top spots. That is really amazing.
So in
you know what, Robert, you've got all the bad stuff that can happen to you has happened. You got that out of the way. When everything clicks for you, like it will every once in a while, when everything clicks, you're going to be on the podium. I mean, in a major race. I'll make that prediction right here.
I love it. So
I would like to be the first one on the podium one
I
day.
love it. So what do you have coming up for the rest of the year?
I got a few things. I do want to say I went back to Arizona a year later, and I went from 13:28 to 10:11.
Oh wow, that's huge! Congratulations. That's fantastic.
I mean, I was short of my goal. For some reason, I don't know what was going on with my watch. I was racing to beat 10 hours, and my watch time said 10 hours. Oh, I went over the handlebars in that race. At an aid station, some guy stopped, missed the gel, stopped and reached back, came to a complete stop, and I'm going through grabbing a water bottle, and all I have is my front brake, and I just go. So I was contemplating not finishing that race. So I stayed in like I stayed in the transition for like, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes, T2. But I ended up finishing with a 10:11.
Oh, that's a big.
Did that? You crashed and finished it with the 10-hour Ironman. That's crazy.
No.
I'm not that fit either, I tell you. Because I've had multiple stress fractures. Since I got hit by the car, I haven't been able to run the same since. I got like lower back issue, and my hip is funny still. So I'm in physical therapy twice a week now. I'm trying to like just focus on staying healthy and really stay healthy. So coming up, what do I have coming up? We just booked. I gotta say it's quiet so the girlfriend doesn't hear. I just booked Augusta today. I'm going with the big dog, Justin Reality.
Awesome.
So I mean, hopefully I don't have him waiting too long for me at the finish line. We got a flight right after to catch. So I have that. I have the PTO, and then New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You're off to the World Championship 70.3.
I am. So
Awesome.
that's the big goal is to, we'll see how we can get how far we can get in this amount of time. I didn't run at all up before St. George. I think I ran a couple miles before St. George because I got a stress fracture in rock and roll half.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I don't think it was the half that gave it to me. I played flag football for the first time for corporate challenge like a week or no, the day before the race, and that just wrecked me. And then I went out and did the half marathon. I ran a 1:30.
Yeah, that's great.
Ended up with a stress fracture. Didn't run at all till
Where was the stress fracture? Your foot or your
the lower leg, inner tibia or inner
the fibula is the inside one.
The inside one. Where that I don't know wherever that patches. Yeah, that was annoying. Just trying to stay healthy. That's the hardest. That's the hardest part of the sport. Is going as hard as I want and staying healthy at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Robert. We said we'd keep you for 15 minutes. We've gone well over that, and I'm just captivated by your story and how far you've come. And you're not even close to your ceiling at this point. So it's going to be really a lot of fun to watch you at these other races, and obviously we're cheering you on and as you go forward. And thank you for joining the club and coming down and doing our last race. That's awesome.
I look forward to doing the rest of them. I'm gonna do all of them now. I have to win one. I mean, I have to go for it.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like sprint's a different sport, though.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that. When someone said, yeah, it's a different race, but it's a different sport. It's like it's completely different.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Well, Robert, thank you for joining us tonight. This has been fantastic to get to know you, and I look forward to seeing you at the next race, whichever one it is. So that'll be fun.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate all you guys do for the community, and thanks for throwing great events.
Well, thank you. Yeah, your persistence and determination is really top. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Bob.
All right. Good night.